Hi, I'm Janine Wright. I'm the editor of Greenhouse Grower Magazine, and I'm here today with Dr. A. He's in the studio with us at Meister Media, which is exciting to have him come visit us in Willoughby. Allan, since we have you here, we have to talk about what are the kind of trends and the influences, the issues that you are seeing in the market right now. I want to get your take on that.
Well, again, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. Truly, it's bright lights. Must be in New York or something. No, it's Willoughby. But anyway, so I am asked every now and then about what I see out there, and I often will present to audiences. I call it horticulture through one man's eyes. What am I seeing? I've been around, my eyes have been around for quite some time, and I have no answers. Probably what I'm about to say, Janine, could be disputed here, there, and everywhere, but there's some obvious trends. Obviously, the demographic trend, the young people, older people not gardening as much. We're seeing certainly the garden of today. It used to be tomorrow. The garden of today is the deck, the veranda, the patio, the porch, because while there are hundreds of thousands of 10-acre gardens, there's bazillions of porches and verandas that need a little intimacy. And that's what we're seeing. That's why we're seeing breeders breeding essentially fillers, if you like. I mean, a bacopa or a scavola or all these wonderful little things, they fill. And so we're seeing that trend at the breeder end. We're seeing that trend now translated certainly to the garden center, because your friends and my friends and daughters are going to the garden center looking for containers. That is the way young people are starting to garden. And if we're going to get them to gardening, we got to make it easy. And the easiest way is with containers and baskets and patios and porches. To say nothing of apartment dwellers who sometimes don't even have a patio and they just need a bright window. So that's happening, to be sure.
Yeah. It seems like I'm seeing a lot more in the garden center, like grab and go containers that are like, make it easy, take the container home, put it on your patio.
Well, and we've seen these at the trials in California. There's always these mixed baskets that you can just buy them and they're just going to be a beautiful thing if you remember to water them. But other than that, so it's a trend that just keeps on going as far as I'm concerned, mainly because I see young people, that's where they start.
Yeah.
And then, so that's pretty easy to see. The other major deal that is not stopping is the whole movement and embracing of natives and nativars, or cultivars of native plants. The native plant movement started with gardeners. It started with people who fretted about all these new plants we're getting in that could become invasive, or perhaps the bees and the butterflies weren't going to them, and they wanted more native material for environmental purposes, quite truthfully. But that started down there, and now it's become a huge movement. I mean, every breeder, every garden center, every broker is selling natives and nativars. And nativars are nothing more than, you can't buy, or I should say you can't buy, it's very difficult to find a native coreopsis. I mean, a species is just pretty hard.
Yeah.
So the nativars is what we're selling. And it's how we get natives mainstreamed. And that just continues. And I think that's going to be just there. It just is. All garden centers have plants that are natives for the people coming in. All landscapers are aware in case the client says, I want native material. And certainly designers know natives, because if they're designing for any government agency whatsoever, be it a local town like Willoughby or being a federal contract, natives are always called for, or nativars, to be sure.
Right.
So that's happening.
Yeah. And I think there's some challenges with the natives that we're seeing the breeders address or changing is, the straight species, they're not low maintenance, they're not always the ornamental pretty look, but I think we're seeing more of the nativars that are coming up with some of those characteristics.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong. I love species natives, or species plants, period. I mean, just are harder to find because we're into this. If you have a quote unquote garden or landscape, it is by definition not natural. We want it to look good all the time. So that's why the nativar thing is becoming so important.
Yeah.
And for good reasons.
Yeah.
And then the last, I won't say last, I see a ton of them, but one we could talk about in this little take here is related very, very much to native plants, but something that everybody is talking about. Whenever I go out and give just chat with my friends, or I chat at master gardeners, or I chat with the garden centers, or I chat with the breeders. It's tell me about pollinator plants. So the people are asking for plants that attract pollinators. And as an industry, we got to know which ones those are. And they're not all natives, but natives fit very well into that bill, because most natives are good pollinators, and they help with our native bees and butterflies and all those other things. Not that bees are native, but most of them. But having said that, the pollinator thing is becoming a huge trend as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. People want to know, they're more concerned about the environment. We're seeing that more and more concerned about the habitat, which is great.
Oh, that is great. So these trends I'm seeing are, as far as I'm concerned, good trends. I mean, we can talk sometime later about what we're seeing on houseplants and succulents and all those things that are really trendy plants. But for the big time stuff,
Those are the big three.
Those are biggies.
So, all right. Well, thanks, Ellen. Join us for more Shop Talk, and you can also find more videos on greenhousegrower.com. And happy growing.
Enjoy.